deep breath and remember who you are. Yeah, they're gonna mess with you, baby, you're a star. Stepping in the spotlight, you know that it feels like time to put up a fight, honey. Got nothing left to lose, so let's start right now. Everybody want a piece of you. Gotta give them what they want, it's true. You're symphonic, yeah, so iconic. If you didn't know before, now you know. Now you know. Take a big step away from who you were. Flashing that smile and the whole world's a blur.
Positively Powerful, back again on a Wednesday morning with Stacey Steinmiller and myself, Scott Fitzgerald. Welcome back, Stacey.
Thank you, Scott.
Good
Happy to be here.
Frickin' see you again. Badass. Badass. So today we wanted to talk about that whole idea of like don't look back. You're not going that way. Constantly looking forward.
Yes.
No, don't focus on your regrets. Don't focus on your past mistakes unless you're learning from them, but don't dwell on them. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And tell me what basically the real detriment to a person is when they are dwelling on those past mistakes and those past regrets. What would you say?
Well, their energy starts to suck.
Well, there you go. There you go. Your
I would say
energy
that's
starts.
like the
It's
biggest.
the answer. It's the answer to every problem that has come up on this live stream is your energy starts to suck. It's true though.
Yeah.
What can you
That'd
do?
be right. Yeah. I mean, I know that sounds simple, but yeah, you're stuck in your head. So you're walking around not present. You're not in the moment. You probably have a scowl on your face, whereas somebody that is present and in the moment and not focused on the past, they look up, they look forward, it's easier to say hi, thank you, give a compliment, receive a compliment, right? You're engaged in the world. But when you're in your head and you're thinking about all the things and worrying and regretting, then you're going to miss out on a lot of life.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're constantly focusing on those regrets and those past mistakes, you're almost in a way inviting them to either happen again or in some form of, related to those mistakes happening again.
Mhm.
Because you're dwelling on it all the time and you're just living in that negative energy all the time. So now you're it's almost inevitable that something bad is going to happen or something negative similar to what you were experiencing before.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because that's what you're focused on, like where attention goes, energy flows. So you're focusing on all that negative stuff. And then you're just kind of like putting all that stuff out there that then those negative interactions you end up having. And I was actually thinking about this morning. And so it's like some people, it always seems like there's things going on and disruptions going on, but you have to really look within on, well, what's going on inside and what needs to shift in here to start to make some changes in the outside world.
I have found a lot of times there are certain people in our lives who always, without exception, are surrounded by some form of negative chaos.
Yeah.
And most of the time you see it on social media where it's like there's someone, they come up in your feed and there's a really long post and it's just, constantly talking about this happened and that happened and this happened and that happened. And it's almost like that's all you ever see from those people are all of the problems that have happened, all of the weird things that have gone wrong constantly. And I can't help but always wonder if that is, brought about by that frame of mind, by that energy that they're in all the time of chaos and problems and, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you give is what you get, right? So if you're giving out negative energy and all that all the time, then you're going to get that back. And also, if you're dialed into that's what you see all the time, then you're going to keep seeing it versus if you're dialed into something positive, then you'll see that all the time. And it's really interesting. When I've made these shifts for myself, I can look and be like, you know what, if like old Stacey narrated this same day, she would have narrated it in such a different and way more negative and victim way. Whereas now I can live that same day and have an entirely different experience.
Yeah. And you had a key word in there, that the victim attitude, that it's always me. Why does this always happen to me? God, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all, and that kind of thing. And I lived in that frame of mind for a long time. And I think every once in a while it pops up. And just like you're saying, the old Stacey narrating today, I do that a lot. And I didn't even think about it until you just said it then, is that a lot of times I will find myself kind of slipping back into that old frame of mind, that the victim mentality, the, oh my God, this always happens to me, and da da da. And thankfully, because of working with you and just being cognizant of this, everything that we're talking about, and just being mindful of these things, I can snap myself out of it, and I can say, no. That's not helping. That's not serving the situation. And it's the same thing when you look back. Like, I still, to this day, I'll look back on things that I regret terribly, like things that I said or ways I behaved in certain situations. And I have to just go, no, not thinking about that. That's done. It's ancient history. It's, nobody cares. Nobody's going to bring it up, that kind of thing. And I wonder how many people fall victim to that way of thinking without realizing that what they're doing is just bringing more of it on to themselves by outwardly complaining about it and bringing it out and talking about it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just talking about this with somebody that, and I made a post about it, that past behavior, is what predicts future behavior and things like that. When it's like, well, if you're constantly thinking, right, about the past and thinking in that way, then that is more likely to cycle. Whereas if you step into the now and be present and create, from your heart space and from that energy you're in now instead of the energy in the past, then you will have different results.
Right. I find it personally difficult. Let's just say hypothetically, I'm waiting for an answer on something, right? Something that, maybe it's a proposal, or, it's a business proposal, or it's whatever. And I find myself, as I dwell on it, I find myself saying, oh, you know what? It's probably not going to work out. Oh, they don't like it, or they're, this and that. And I start falling to that negative mindset of it's not happening. And I have to really work hard. And I'm sure there's plenty of people like this, that we really have to work hard at almost psyching ourselves out in that way of thinking, and just repeating it over and over until it becomes natural for us to say that, to be like, no, we're we're looking at the positive side. We're saying, no, this is happening. This is we're doing this. Which I
Yeah.
think is really hard. Do you I mean you always seem like you're well put together, but do you ever have those problems?
Of course, all the time. Like all the time. So when I notice that, then I know I'm putting too much power in whatever it is that I'm waiting for.
Oh, interesting.
Right. Yeah, I'm putting like I'm in a place of desperation or need, right? When we're doing that. And it's like, well, I need this in order to feel okay. So I'm going to be like not okay until this thing happens. So when you're in a waiting energy, that's actually can be a like a light bulb of you not being present and not being in your power if you're waiting. Otherwise, there's really no point to waiting, right? You do the proposal and then you go on to whatever else in your day, right? There is no waiting.
And you just do it and move on, and you don't even think about it. Don't even give it any energy at all.
But that's the goal.
Best yeah,
I'm not
best
saying
case scenario.
that
Yeah.
I do that all the time, but that's what I work to do. One of my mentors kind of talked about it like a piece of art. You finished your art, you put it on the wall, and you're like, great,
Yeah.
awesome. And then you walk away and you move on with your day. It's completed, it's done, right? You don't like sit and like watch the art and be like, oh my God, is like what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen here? Right. You just do it, you create it, you put it out there and you move forward, right? And so when we do that, now we're kind of in a flow, we're in our creation energy, and we're not giving off that negative stuff when we're waiting. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts about waiting.
When you talked about giving it power over you, it's interesting because that's the same phraseology that I would use for my kids when my kids would be like, "Oh, this person's such a pain in the ass, and they're doing this and they're doing that," or it's somebody at work that they don't like or that's treating them badly and stuff. And I always would say to them, and of course, as a parent, do as I say, not as I do. But I would say don't give them that power over you. Don't give them that way of controlling how you feel,
Yeah,
which, is easier said than done for especially for a
of
young
course.
person, who is, there's a challenge or somebody that you don't like or is treating you poorly. That's like kind of what monopolizes your mind. But
Yeah.
it's true that and I didn't think about it from a business point of view in that like, oh, there's a proposal out there, or we're waiting for more clients, we're hoping for more clients. You just do the thing that you're supposed to be doing all the
Hmm.
time. And yes, in the back of your mind you're like, I'm going to do this because I believe people are going to see this and people are going to want to work with me, and that's
Yep.
what you do. But you don't approach it from the point of view like, I need this in order to be fulfilled, in order to feel successful,
Right.
in order to be happy.
Right, exactly. So if we're in that like anxious energy around it, dwelling, like you're saying, then that's a sign that you are more, in that desperation, like I need this instead of like, okay, great, awesome, proposal, fun, so cool. Okay, on to the next thing. Right.
Is there some kind
Yeah.
of is there something that you would recommend people do um just to remind themselves to get out of this? I mean, I know sometimes it's just as easy as you catch yourself and you just, I don't know, is there a trick? Is
Yeah,
there
trick,
something
yeah.
like, is there like sometimes like there was, people would repeat the poem, the every
The
day and every
serenity
way I'm getting
prayer?
better and better,
Or
or the serenity prayer or something like that. It's some kind of thing
yeah.
that would help them snap out of that frame of thought and redirect
Yeah.
their energies to something more positive.
Yeah, I think any spiritual practice is great, So yeah, it could be like a mantra or a prayer or reading through passages and, whatever spiritual, text that you're moving through, meditation. But just basically you want time, like silence, and to cut through the illusions and getting to truth. So getting to a place of oneness, getting to that divine self and out of your ego state of mind. So whatever helps you to get out of your ego state of mind and into your divine self, I would say would be a great practice. And that can be so many different things for people. But to really commit to that spiritual practice every day, I think is really, really grounding and helpful. And then it helps us to catch it, throughout the day if you start your day in that way.
I followed your advice yesterday. I found myself dwelling on things, and it was a nice day, so I went out for a walk, and I just walked down the street, and then it was kind of a weird path because it was all the construction there, so I didn't want to go too close to where they were doing. So I'd like cut through this building's property and then went through the woods and then down and end up coming around to behind our building, which was actually a really cool path that I discovered. And it was neat. It was neat to just walk around, and I was listening to an audiobook while I was walking and not really worrying about anything, just enjoying the sunshine, enjoying being by myself and walking in the fresh air. And I can't tell you how many times I overlook that simple thing to do.
Yeah.
It's so simple. All you take 10 minutes. You can take 10 minutes to go outside and walk around, and it really completely changed my day from that point forward. I got more productive. I got more done. I was able to think more clearly. And that was advice that you give all the time. Get out there and take a walk or a run or a bike ride, or even just go and sit at a bench and
Right.
watch the birds or something, what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's so powerful.
Right. And I think we discount so much of this because it feels so simple, but it is actually really hard to do, right? To disconnect, because we have to recognize that fear that we're in, whether it's waiting for a responsive proposal or whatever it is it takes a lot of courage to step out of your fear and allow peace. And that's why we tend to have resistance around it, because we feel like, well, I'm afraid and I feel hijacked by my system because I'm afraid. And so it does take a big leap and act of courage to do the simple things, like go outside and go for that walk. But yeah, the more you practice it and the more you do it, like you're saying, you realize, oh, I had moments of peace, and I instead of dwelling, and I actually feel better because instead of sitting in my office dwelling, I was out on a walk.
Right.
And now I'm returning to my office with a new energy, with a better frame of mind and better mood. And now my day is going better because I did that. So yeah, it's simple, but obviously it's hard to step out of that fear because your ego is going to be like, no, you need to be afraid, and this is why you shouldn't be afraid.
And you used a word there that I really liked in that context, which was allow the peace. Because like the peace is there waiting for you to accept it. It's not something that you have to create on your own. It's a natural state of being that you just have to be ready to allow to happen. Yes. That was really important word that I didn't even think about it before that. But it's true. When you're usually fighting the peace by doing some kind of dwelling or thinking or the fear, or your energy's messed up. Exactly. And you just have to like turn it off and allow that peace. So anyway, it was going to be a little quickie today, so to speak, on the live stream. That's kind of weird on LinkedIn, but and it was really based on the idea of don't look back, don't dwell on your mistakes, on your regrets and things like that, because when it comes down to it, those are negative energies, and they're not suiting you. They're not good for you in moving forward and achieving your goals. So that was the point I wanted to make, and you helped me make it. So once again, I thank you.
Awesome.
I thank you. We have
Take a deep
radically.
breath.
Did I do it again? Did I do it again? No, I didn't. RadicalLifeCoach.com to find Stacey and to get into the groups. Lots of cool stuff happening in there. A lot of people that are there to support you, and you support each other, and it's a great community. And then if you'd like to do a podcast or an audiobook or legacy cast or anything like that, you can find us at rockvox.com. Thanks, Stacey. We will see you next week on the various live stream channels.
See you next week, Scott. Thank you.